Hello, I'm Leila Khan, and you're watching the Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press. Today I am so happy to be joined by Leila Khan. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing well, very early here, but I'm so excited we are finally getting the chance to talk about Heartstopper season two. Before we really dive into the show and your character, what can you tell me about your background and the initial spark that made you want to pursue the arts as a career?
Okay, so I grew up in a small, well, I'd say small, I don't know, there's like quite a few people here, but it's like a small town in Essex, and I grew up on like a council estate, and I never really realised that I wanted to pursue acting, but looking back, so I realised probably when I was in like year nine, which is like age 13, 14, I think. I don't remember. Um, but looking back, I remember when my mum got me my first iPad and I discovered iMovie, and this was like maybe 10, 11, and I'd round all the kids up on my neighbourhood on like this council estate and like make little movies and action trailers and stuff because there was features to do that on iMovie. So looking back, I always was like into it, and I was always into reading and stories, and I loved drama at school and stuff. So looking back, it was always there, but I've only just realised it probably in the last few years that it was always something that I wanted to do.
iMovie, that was some time ago. I'm sure you had a lot of fun, like kind of creating and that's discovering that passion through creating like these little skits and movie trailers.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I used to, and these kids were hardcore as well because they'd like make me pay them as well. I'd be like, I'll buy you some sweets from the shop, okay? If you come and do my little movie thing. I was like hustling them all up, about six kids, and I'd make them wear certain clothes and do certain action things. I remember having like one kid who lived next door to me jump off of a bunk bed, so land on the floor and do some like spy action or something like that. So yeah, definitely always been like in that realm. I think it's a form of like escapism as well, isn't it? Like whatever's going on, you kind of just okay, I'm gonna grab my toys and I'm gonna make a movie, and you know what I mean. So yeah, it's always been there, I think.
You're probably a little fortunate no kids ever got hurt in the making of your films. Just a little casual stunt off the bunk bed, no big deal.
Yeah, I didn't have insurance at the time.
Nowadays, you're like, okay, looking back, that might have been a little dangerous, but you're learning more about film, of course, now and how
Yeah.
these bigger productions work. Were your family and friends always supportive of this path for you?
Yeah. Well, honestly, so I went to uni. I went to Anglia Ruskin University in Cambridge, and my I lived with my auntie and my uncle at the time. And so originally I was going to go to university and do law, and I'd got in to do law, but last minute I kind of changed my mind because I couldn't imagine my life without doing English literature and drama, and I was like, all right, I'm going to tell them. So I went and told my auntie and uncle that I'm going to do English literature and drama, and they were like, no, that is not like you were gonna go do law, you were gonna become a barrister, all this. So we had a big argument, and eventually I was like, well, listen, I'm gonna do it, so sucks to be you. And so I went and did it, and they were like, right, so what's your backup plan? Because you're never gonna make it. Like, do you? And I was like, listen. And it all come out of love, you know. It's always a place of love, and I see that. But we had arguments about it. Some wars went down. But yeah, so they were like, I was like, it's fine. I'll become a teacher. I'll get my PGCE, which is something I would still do today. Like I've worked in a primary school before, which was good fun. But I told them, yeah, I'll get my PGCE. I'll become a teacher. Don't worry. I'm not like I just want to do this because it's something I love. And then when they found out I got Heartstopper, they kind of rang me up and was like, okay, we're really proud of you. We're sorry. Well, it was more my uncle. My auntie was like, go do what you want, but my uncle was very like logical thinker. So he was like, go and do something that's gonna make you money and like do well for yourself. And I was like, I don't really care. I'm gonna go this way. But he rang me up when he found out that I got cast in Heartstopper, and he was like, I'm glad you made me eat my words, which was a really nice like full circle moment. And I was like, I love you. Don't worry. So yeah, they've been supportive, And now they like want to know everything, which is nice. And my mum and my dad and my nan and granddad, they're all supportive. It was just really my uncle, but it came out of a place of love. He just wanted me to do well, which is yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of like that you've had these kind of hard conversations because, like you mentioned, it comes like really from a place of love and they just want the best for you. They don't like, I think it's unfortunate because these are things that they don't want to see their niece like, not succeed at. And I'm
Yeah.
glad it's kind of come full circle for you. So you mentioned the drama English degree. How were your studies over there? Like, what are some important lessons that you've kept with you today?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I loved studying English literature and drama as well, by the way. It was so much fun. And I'm not actually graduated yet because Heartstopper came around and I was meant to finish my last term and I was like rang my uni, I was like, really sorry, I'm not coming back. And then it's happened again. So I should be graduated like finishing in January coming, fingers crossed. But my studies have been great, really great. The university is great and I don't know, there's something about reading books and I cry at like other people's like a character's stories more than I cry in my own life. It's like I convince myself that it's healthy, but it's not. Yeah, I love like analysing characters and really like getting into other worlds and stuff like that. And so my studies have been great and something that I've kept with me is like I don't know, it's I'm trying to think. So many things that I probably can't think of, but one that comes to mind is like it's not nothing direct, but it's kind of like that feeling of never stop learning. It's so great when you're always constantly learning, your mind is constantly open. And I think going to uni has really kept me on that mindset of like, yeah, just being open minded to like what's around. So that's probably one of the biggest lessons that uni has taught me. And also like never say no. I think we did this wasn't at uni, but in I think it was either sixth form or when I was doing my GCSEs in secondary school, we went and did this frantic workshop, frantic assembly workshop. I can't get my words out. And frantic assembly is like a crazy, like so cool theatre company here, and they do like really cool movement stuff. And I can't even explain it. I don't know if you've heard of the Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Bit of a mouthful, but it's a brilliant play, and it's all like very like movement based. So in school, we went to do one of those workshops, and we were meeting with like directors and stuff, and they taught us never say no to an idea. If someone has an idea and you're not keen on it, just try it and see how it goes. So I think yeah, never say no and always be open to learning is like one of the lessons that I've learned.
I love that because it's things that keep you going and it's like you mentioned you don't want to be closed off to ideas. They may not work out, but there's no harm in giving it a
Yeah.
go. You were in a play back in May, Wojciech, hope I'm pronouncing that right, as the doctor. How integral has the stage been for you and intimate productions like this one?
Yeah, so it's Wojciech, but don't worry because when I first saw the play, I was like, how do you say this? I had to ask people multiple times, so don't worry. Wojciech's a really cool play, and we did it as a university production with my friend Joe Cini. They actually kind of rewrote it because it's a German play, and it's really cool. And um, God, I'm gonna go too much into it now. But they rewrote it. My friend Josine rewrote it and directed it, and kind of put it in different snippets because they explained that no matter how you like rearrange the play, the the outcome it still is a good story no matter how you rearrange the segments of the play. But it was really fun. I love doing theatre and intimate productions like that because when you're on stage, you can kind of like. And the Doctor was a really cool character to be, like so nutty and so like didn't care about other people, just science. So you could get really into it and like stare at people in the audience and like really make them feel uncomfortable. And I think that's why theatre is so important to me because your work is never finished until like you're on stage, and then even every night it's different. You can rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, but until you're on stage in the moment on that night, it's kind of like okay, this is the final piece now, and yeah, you discover more things live, and that's happened a lot, especially doing stuff at uni. You kind of things happen and mishaps happen, and you're still working through it, even though you think no matter how much you can rehearse, there's still things that are like thrown at you in the moment. So I think that's why it's important, and doing theatre work like is some of the best training you can have, um because yeah, you're never finished, like I said. Yeah, so it's been important in my like learning about stage and theatre and acting in general.
And there's really like that whole one take aspect. And you mentioned engaging with the audience, like you have that more immediate audience reaction versus in like TV and film.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That's why I've noticed, like with film, when I first did Heartstopper, that was like my first, yeah, because I never did any film stuff at uni either. It was all stage work. So when I did um Heartstopper, the second season, I keep saying season one, but it's not obviously because that's my first season.
Your season one.
Yeah, my season one. When I did that show, um, I'd like mess up and I'd be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and they were like, it's fine, we can just go again, and I was like, oh, of course, yeah, but like you're so because I've only ever done like stage work at uni and school and like mini productions on stage outside like clubs and stuff, you kind of forget and you're like, oh, and you want the ground to swallow you, and then you
Your
realize it's okay.
mindset is like, it's over, it's over. I'm already
Yeah,
done my one take.
yeah, and then you try and recover, and then they're like, "Don't worry, we can cut and go again." So that was like learning how to act for film and learning how to act for stage is a completely different ballpark. And I'm still, I think, yeah, you never stop learning. So I'm still like navigating the film world, and I'm still navigating the stage world. So, but they're both just as fun.
We'll get into the show now. You star, of course, as Sahar Zahid in season two of Heartstopper. What can you share about your audition and that open call casting process?
Oh yes, so this there's a bit of a funny story to this, but I'll get into it in a minute. So the initial how I found out about it was my friend Ollie. We were on a phone call and he was doing lots of like it was during my second year of uni, but we just finished, so it was the summer. And I was on a phone call with him, and he was saying like all of the cool work he'd been doing, and I was like, "Oh, that's really really cool." And he was like, "Yeah, I've got something to tell you. I've seen a casting call for a Netflix show called Heartstopper, and the description fits you. Why don't you go up for it?" And I'd never really like noticed that I'm quite a noob with everything. Like I go on my phone to watch animal videos. You know, I'm like a proper mum. But I didn't realise you could get casting calls on Instagram and social media and stuff. So I had a look and I was like, oh, I can, it'll be cool to just put my face in there and see what they say. So I didn't really think anything of it, and it's all kind of thanks to Ollie because I wouldn't have known about it if he didn't tell me. So shout out to my friend Ollie. I emailed them and I was like, sent them a few really ugly pictures of myself because I hadn't had professional headshots yet, and like a little description, probably way too much information. I was like really trying to sell myself. I was like, I look really young because I got ID'd for petrol, and I was like really trying to sell myself. Um, and they were great. The team, Daniel Edwards' casting team, got back to me maybe like a week later, and they sent me a script which was a scene from the comic, Alice's comic, and it was the scene between Nick and Sahar when they talk about starting sixth form and stuff like that. And so I did that, and I had no one to help me do the tape because I think I was ill or my family were ill, and I was on my own at uni. So I was like, "Great, I'm gonna have to like pretend someone's there reading the lines for me." It was like really a really awful tape. I don't know how I got the job. So I did the tape, and they must have thought like that it was good because they asked me to meet them for a Zoom call. So I met with Lucy Allen from Daniel Edwards' casting team, Zorana, the producer, and Eros. There might have been someone else, but it might have been Patrick, the other producer. Can't really remember now. It's like all a bit of a daze. And I remember like freaking out after the audition. I was like shaking and I was crying and I was like, that was really fun. And it was the whole time I never thought I was gonna get it because you never like a little random girl from a council estate in a small town in Essex. You don't really think those things kind of happen to you, but it did because okay, so this is where it gets funny. I'm so terrible at telling stories, by the way. I'm like this. So I did my Zoom call, cried, and then it got to like a week later, and I hadn't heard anything from them, and I was like, I haven't got it. This is awful. Oh, and by this point, because I got to the Zoom call, I was thinking like I've got my foot in the door here. Like maybe. Um, so then a week later, didn't hear anything back, and I thought, oh God, they don't like me. They don't want me, and they didn't even tell me. But it turns out, um, on it was the Monday, I was checking my emails, I was checking my junk emails, and I realised I had about 5 emails from the casting team, and they'd all gone to my junk. And it was like 6 p.m. and I was stressing. I started freaking out, and it said, "We'd love to meet you." Then the next one said, "Are you still interested?" The next one was like, "Please let us know if you want to meet." And the meeting was for the next day, and I hadn't seen it. And I was on my way to Manchester, and it was 6 p.m. and I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I tried to call their office, got through, and I was like, "Lucy, I'm so sorry. All your emails went to my junk. Can I still come tomorrow and audition?" And they were like, "Yes, we tried to find your Instagram, we couldn't find you. Like, we thought you'd lost interest." And I was like, no, don't worry, I'm gonna be there. So I finished my journey up to Manchester, come back down at like maybe like 1 o'clock in the morning, then drove into London because I don't know why I didn't get a train. I probably should have got a train, but we drove anyways, and went, did it, and then I think that was on the Tuesday, and then on the Thursday they called me and was like, "Okay, so it's between you and one other person." And I was like, "Why'd you have to tell me that?" I would have been fine not knowing that, because if I don't get it, I'll know how close I was. And they were like, "Yeah, we'll let you know either tomorrow or Monday." And I was like, okay. So then a few hours later they called me and was like, "You got the job." And I was like, that's crazy. But it was so close to like not getting it because all their emails went to my junk, and I was stressing out. But yeah, luckily somehow I got it, and I'm here today with you.
I loved hearing that entire story. And this is, I want to say, because you basically don't have an agent or anything at this point, you're managing your audition process yourself, and your emails are going to your junk. Can you imagine had you completely missed like that cutoff for the meeting the next day?
I don't even want to think about it. When I checked, I genuinely, I think I was shaking with like anxiety. I was like, and I like I don't know what I would have done if I had missed that meeting because, well, thank God for my agents now, Jill and Dilly and Neve. I don't know what I'd do without them because that's the sort of mistake I'd make. Why wouldn't anyone in their right mind check their junk? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I would have. It would have been like the biggest kick in the teeth ever because I brought it upon myself. But yeah, luckily it was all meant to be. That's all I can say.
I mean, this is your first ever acting job for film, so you have so much to be proud of. We don't know too much about Sahar from the graphic novels. What backstory did you create for her, or did you kind of create for her in discussion with maybe Alice, your director, any of your producers?
Yeah, so during the casting process, we kind of yeah, it was the casting process. During that meeting that I had with them in London on the Tuesday that I almost missed, we kind of had a chat because there were a few scenes to go through. Alice was there, Patrick was there, Daniel Edwards from Daniel Edwards' casting team, and Eros was there, the director. So we kind of did the scenes a few times, and you learn a lot about the character then as well because they're kind of well, Eros is directing you, saying like, "Can you do it this way?" And that kind of gives you an insight to how the character feels and their kind of backstory there. But when I got cast, we had rehearsal um, sessions. So I think I had a few. One with how many did I have? I can't remember how many I had. A few, but they were all with the director Eros Lynn, and Alice was there and Patrick, and that's where we really discussed like Sahar and her motivations and her backstory. I think Alice was quite open to like letting me kind of make one up for myself, so I kind of said like, well, Alice actually asked me. She said like, "How do you imagine Sahar being?" And I was like, "Oh well, I'd kind of imagine her being." in like a big family with like loads of younger siblings, maybe like three or four brothers and sisters. So I can imagine her being the older one because she's quite independent and uh, she's independent, but she can like be relied upon, Sahar. So I think that's where she probably gets it from. And I think her mum and dad are both like really I can't remember what we discussed. I think I said they might be like doctors or something, you know, like something, and that's why she kind of gets her creative side from because she veers off from what she's used to. But nothing like set in stone, and obviously it's Alice's character, but that kind of helped get me into like the mood of Sahar and figure out who she was.
I think that like all these elements that you piece together are really important for you because like you mentioned, nothing is really set in stone, at least not right now, but creatively you kind of want to know where your characters come from. Sahar is also bisexual. Did you consider maybe how she came out and discovered her sexuality to a point where she was comfortable and confident in her skin and orientation?
Yeah, so something I considered is that Sahar is so blunt and she's so like just says it how it is, and I think that's probably. I mean, again, like I can only imagine from what I've where it takes me, but I kind of just imagined that it was something that she didn't really pass much heed to. That she was like because she is so open with everything and she's so like she's got this kind of attitude that is like yeah I'm me so what, so I think for her it might not have been as uh I don't want to downplay it but not as kind of scary for her because she is so like I'm me so what, and I think that's powerful in itself because she's like yeah I'm bisexual, and I think it didn't take a lot of thought, she just maybe realized growing up that she was attracted to men and women and it wasn't something that kind of scared her, she was like cool, do you know what I mean? um yeah, I don't whereas which is nice because it's different, like Tara in the show she and the comics she has her own kind of fears with coming out as a lesbian and Nick coming to terms with being bisexual. I think Sahar is like I said she's just really like open with everything and blunt and honest and doesn't really care about what people think, so when she realized she was bisexual she didn't feel the need to come out because it was like obviously eventually she probably did come out but it wasn't like a big I'm bisexual guys because it was just part of who she is. I think. I yeah. I hope that doesn't downplay it too much, but that's how I imagined her.
I like the way you said it because I feel like, you know, everyone has their own story and it carries its own weight in itself. But maybe with Sahar, you see that her relationship with her parents, again, she's very open. So maybe they have that dialogue. Maybe her parents noticed it as well. So it just didn't have, you know, the same amount of, oh, this is something that Sahar has to do. It's going to be very scary. Which I like, and she is very no nonsense. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's appropriate that the character would carry that as well. What kind of qualities in her personality and key values did you determine were important for her?
I think straight off the bat, because in the description it says she's very cynical and no nonsense, like you said. So I think honesty is a big quality for her that she lives by because I think yeah, for her it's probably more important to be honest than get bitten in the arse later on by saying something but about someone and then like them finding out and blah blah. So I think that's being honest but in a good way. And I think loyalty is probably important to her. She holds her close her friends very close and dear to her. So I think those are the main two qualities, and also like yeah, creativity and is a given with her music and everything. So yeah, I think those two.
In the open casting call, like I'm curious because you mentioned really selling yourself in those emails. Did you find a lot of similar traits with Sahar? Were you very different?
Yeah, so I did actually say I'll try and pull the email up, but I think I read it just before we started, just to have a gist. But I think I said something like, you mentioned that Sahar is very independent, and I really resonate that because, I go to uni and yeah, and all this sort of stuff. So her independence is something I definitely resonate with, and I think we could all strive to be a bit more honest in day-to-day life, even with little things. But yeah, definitely independence and honesty. My mum would tell you I'm definitely honest, even when even when I shouldn't be. So yeah, probably that.
Music, you mentioned, is a big part of Sahar's life. She plays the guitar. We see her with headphones on throughout the season. What kind of artist do you think she listens to and is inspired by?
Oh, I haven't really thought about this, which is stupid. I should have thought about this. I think probably a lot of Baby Queen, since she was in the band of Baby Queen. We did The Cure in the show, so probably The Cure. There's actually an artist and a song in the yearbook, the Heartstopper yearbook, and I can't remember what that song is, but I have it on my playlist because every time I'm thinking about getting into Sahar, I listen to that song. What song is it? I'm trying to think of what it is. Oh my god, it's gonna lose me. I'll have to find it and send it to you. But it's in the yearbook. It's in the Alice's yearbook that recently came out, maybe probably last year now. It's all like a blur this whole year. But in the yearbook on Sahar's page, down the bottom it says currently listening to, and the bloody band has gone out of my name, out of my head. I can't remember.
We'll
But yeah,
find it. We'll
probably like
find it.
yeah, we'll find it and put it on. But definitely like The Cure, Baby Queen. I think a lot of like maybe rock and pop is her genre, and you'll get more of a gist maybe in season three what she's into. I'm not giving too much away, but yeah, definitely, definitely a lot of pop and rock, soft pop and rock.
She does have the Punk's Not Dead sticker on her guitar, which is a bit
Yeah.
of like an indication as well. You said in an interview that you cannot play guitar. So, did you learn? Do you have plans to learn for season three, for future seasons?
Well, yeah. So for season two, I did get a guitar teacher called Steve, who is great. And I did manage to do the solo for The Cure, and every now and then. So my granddad bought me a little guitar for Christmas, which was just after we finished shooting, and he was like, because you might get used to playing guitar. So every now and then I'll like play the solo on my guitar, which is like a tiny little version of a guitar. Um, but yeah, so like Steve was great and he did teach me how to play the song, but I'm just not. If I had more time, I'm not gonna say I'm like an expert, and I probably don't look like an expert in the show, but I tried my best. And for season three as well, I've got the lovely Steve back for some guitar lessons. So yeah, not. I'm trying, but I don't think I'll be like the great the greats. Do you know what I mean? It won't be nothing. It won't be nothing on Eddie from Stranger Things.
Hey, I think that it looks very convincing. So I'll give you that. And you're trying, and that's what matters. I mean, hopefully we do get to see more music. I mean, we do know from the graphic novels there's a band thing going on. So we'll see if that makes its way into some of season three. How would you describe Sahar's fashion sense and style? Would you say it's similar or different than your own?
So, like Sahar's whole personality, it's so very like I don't care what people think about me. If I like something, I'm gonna wear it, and that's what she does. She loves a bit of. We saw a lot of double denim in season two. I don't. Yeah, so like denim crop jackets and jeans and like funky tops. Um, and Sahar's fashion sense is probably a lot better than mine because all I do is wear tracksuits and trainers. I am like you'll never catch me in anything else except like if I wear a pair of jeans, I think that's dressing up. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm all about comfort, and Sahara probably like comfort but look cool, and I don't look cool ever. That's probably why no one ever sees me like in London and whatever because I just blend in. I've just got my like hoodie on and my trainers, and I'm like walking through central London looking like a tramp basically. My style is tramp. Sahar's is rock. I'm not on her level at all. I wish I could be, but it's just not in me. I like a tracksuit too much.
I love that you're kind of like, that's why I don't ever get recognized or seen out in London. It's because I just look like a regular person. But
Yep.
I think it's you've kind of embraced like this normalcy in your life that you're living. I love Sahar's hair because it's like there's a simplicity of it, but she also has those like kind of face framing strands, or I think they call it tendrils or something like that. So I imagine you did have a lot of fun chatting with the hair and makeup team at the beginning of your day.
Yeah, actually, makeup in the morning and makeup in the afternoon are like one of my favorite times of the day because you get in and you chill and you just get to lay there and sit there and like let the lovely Erin. I had Erin do my face a lot and my hair last season, and I had a lovely lady called Sophie as well, and they would just look after me so nicely. But yeah, so Deandra, the makeup designer, I come in and my hair hadn't been cut. I'm like a proper tomboy. I've always been a tomboy, which is like kind of like a tramp again, just tracksuits and trainers all the time, don't really cut my hair, don't really brush it, don't do anything, hair's always up. So I went in for a makeup test, hair and makeup test with Deandra, and I had those framing bits, but they had grown out a lot, so she like trimmed them up and made them look presentable, trimmed my hair. I think she took like this much of my hair off, and my hair was still really long. I looked on the floor and I was like, oh god, there was still loads left. So yeah, that was a lot of hair for them to tame, the poor girls. But yeah, a lot of fun, and like I love the different ways they do my hair because like in my own life, I all I do is brush it or put it in a ponytail. So it's fun to like go on to set and let them like do really cool stuff. And this season we'll see some cool hairstyles, hopefully. Um, but yeah, lots of fun.
We do get a quick glimpse into Sahar's room in episode 7. She has very bold, colorful wall art, and her guitar, of course, covered with stickers. Did you get any say or influence into the set decoration or how Sahar's room would look like?
Um, yeah, I mean, like the art department do their thing and they do it very well. But the producer Zorana had messaged me and she said, she had messaged me about like Sahar's room and she said, was is there? I can't remember I'll try and find it quickly. But she said, was there anything kind of authentic that I would like in my room? Because obviously my heritage is mixed British Pakistani. I'm trying to find the message now. So she said, would you like to add some authentic touches to Sahar's room? And I kind of just explained that on my dad's side, my cousins, they have like little kind of Arabic things dotted around and like that little touches to that side of my life, like little Arabic paintings and stuff, or um, little what are those called, like ceramic things dotted around. So that was like a little bit of an insight that I got, but the art department don't need any help from me by far.
I love that they asked though, because it's something that really resonates with, you connecting with your character and them wanting to incorporate your mixed heritage, which I like. And I mean, I'd hope to explore more in the future. I think it's really unique to have, it was in the casting call as well that they wanted someone who was maybe mixed heritage or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's really important to embrace different like cultures and stuff, that especially when you're doing a show like Heartstopper, which is so good at representing different um, sexualities and cultures and um, backgrounds and stuff like that. So yes, I think it's really important, and it was really lovely that they asked, like you said.
Were there ever any concerns or questions about how Sahar would fit into the show and this core friend group? And then did you also consider how long she had known Tara, Darcy, and Elle for?
Yeah, so I mean, there weren't really any stresses. I didn't really feel any pressure about how Sahar would fit in because, Alice writes the script so well and it all kind of is so smooth and everything. But there was a lot of my dog's barking. There was a lot of stress on me whether I would fit in the group because I was so nervous. But for Sahar, I didn't really feel that. She kind of just yeah, she kind of just melts right in like butter, you know what I mean? But there was an original so there's a scene in episode 2 where Sahar asks Tara for help with the prom, and the original line was, "I know we don't really talk that much, but would you mind helping me?" or something along those lines. And we actually changed it. Well, Alice changed it, but so I imagine that like they'd gone to the same schools, but they hadn't really mixed in until this year. They kind of got really close, but I imagine they were in the same classes and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think like in the world, she is supposed to have existed like in season one as a student at Higgs, although we don't properly meet her. I did also think she fit in quite seamlessly. So I think kudos to the writing team, but also you yourself for kind of fitting in with that group. What kind of student do you think Sahar is? Because she recruits help, like you said, from Tara. I mean, clearly she was asked by maybe teachers or something like that to be involved and help organize this.
Yeah, so yeah, I think Sahar is probably quite an academic student. She's probably a lot better than I was at school. I mean, I was good in the subjects that I wanted to be good at. But Sahar, I think she's an all-rounder. I think she's kind of one of those annoying students that are good at effortlessly good at everything, um, which I was never. That's probably why like teachers go to her to organise things like the prom. Um, yeah, probably definitely academic, and she probably did even better in those kind of creative subjects like music. And I think she's probably a history gal as well.
I'm curious, what was your favorite scene to be in as Sahar and why?
Ooh, there's a really lovely scene with the girls in the hotel room where Elle tells them that she is kind of she kissed Tao and all of this gossip and stuff. And it's like it was a really lovely scene to do because you just it was just like all the girls and it felt really like sweet, and I never really had that when I was younger, because I'm like I said, I'm like a tomboy, so all my friends are like quite boyish, and even my girlfriends like we're like tomboys and stuff doing sports and stuff. So it was really nice to like, yeah, I never really had those kind of relationships with my girlfriends, so it was nice to play that, and and when you watch it, it's a really lovely scene as well. It's just cute. It's just really cute.
Yeah, I think it does come off really natural, and I like that you kind of played into that aspect that you maybe didn't have moments like that as much when you were a bit younger. I really love the Truth or Dare at Tara's birthday party. Is there anything specifically you remember from filming that scene? Because there also were a lot of different cast members involved.
Yeah, so that was like I can't remember if we shot that in one. I think that was a one day. We shot that in one day. Might have been two. I mean, the whole party was shot across a few days. I think my memory's awful, but I think the whole party was shot across a few days, and then the Truth or Dare scene. It was this. It was like really cool because all this movie magic sort of stuff is new to me, and they had built the hotel rooms in the school hall. Um, was it the school hall? Yeah, I think it was. Or I'm trying to think where it was. Somewhere like that. One of the school gyms or something like that. And they built the hotel room, which was really cool to me. And we had like all the like main cast, and then like loads of different supporting artists, like party goers and stuff. And it was like a really long day because they had to do so many camera angles, and we were all like, it was in the middle of winter, and we had like blankets covering us, and it was just like a nice day, yeah. And there was lots of laughs, and like you try and make people laugh behind the camera when you're not on camera, obviously. But yeah, just like really, there's so many moments to me that are like you kind of keep close to you. But that day was really fun. Probably like it was probably stressful thinking about it because it was maybe a long day or whatever, but none of it felt too stressful because you're kind of doing the job that you love. I can't think of any specific moments. There probably were. I think someone. I think actually coming back to it, I think someone farted, and we were all trying to guess who farted.
And to
Um,
this day, do you know, or is it still a mystery?
no, actually, that memory has only just come back to me. I can't remember who did it. No, I don't think we ever found out. Maybe it was Bradley. I'm gonna blame Bradley. He's such a farter. I'm gonna expose Bradley now. Actually, he farts all the time. We were staying in a hotel room together, and we were doing self tapes. And I was doing one, and he did a huge fart behind camera. And then I went into work the next day and showed everyone. They were like, "Layla, was that you?" And I was like, "No, it's Bradley." So I'm setting the record straight right here. Bradley is the biggest farter, so it was probably him on that Truth or Dare day.
And then you just showed like the rest of the cast, no big
I
deal.
I showed the drivers, I showed the producers, I showed everyone. Yeah, it was awful, and it stunk as well, Bradley. Awful.
He is going
God,
to like come after you once
probably
this gets out
once this
there.
gets
But
released. Yeah.
it's all love between you two, obviously.
Yeah,
Glad they
I
got to
love
join the
Bradley.
cast together as well for the season. Sahar, a big part of the Paris squad, as we know, like she also is in the graphic novels. How incredible was that trip to Paris and getting to explore the city? Because it spanned 3 episodes, but how long were you all in Paris for?
So we were actually only there for a week, which isn't like a lot of filming time, really. We should have been there probably a bit longer. But a week of Paris is so much fun. We went to Disneyland the second day we arrived. Like, and by the way, that was my second time ever abroad, and the only time I had been abroad was like 2 months earlier, um, at my big age of like 20, I think I was. Yeah, 20. So it was crazy to me going to another country because again that's like not something that I thought would happen, like go and get paid to go do a job in Paris. That's so cool, mind blowing. We had a lot of fun. We went to Disneyland and we got to go to like all these really cool places like the Eiffel Tower. That is something that I'll never get my head round. I mean, it was scary, let me tell you this. I'm not a fan of heights, and we were climbing. We were filming there at like 6 in the morning. We were there, and that was just scary. It was still like dark outside, and you'd look and the sun would be coming up, and then you realize how high you are up because it was dark and you didn't really notice. We filmed on the Eiffel Tower for like two mornings. I think we filmed from 6 till 10 or 11 across a Tuesday and a Wednesday or something like that. That was really fun. We got to go to like the short. My French pronunciation is awful, but you know where we went because you watched the show, the Champs Elysees, and some guys got to go to the Louvre, which I was really jealous about. That's really cool. Um, Loads of cool places. Paris is just, yeah. I've got so many pictures. I think most of my camera roll is filled up with pictures from Paris.
As it should. With
Yeah.
the Eiffel Towers, it always crazy to think about that they kind of block off some of it just so you guys can go film.
Yeah, that was like because it's a whole new world to me. Like at that time, it was crazy. But yeah. So I think we got there at 6 in the morning because it was that was before it was open to the public. I think it became open to the public at like 10 o'clock. So yeah, it's just crazy that like that stuff happens. And when we were filming on like in Paris, on the streets of Paris, they'd like block off those streets so that you can walk on them and stuff. And you've got loads of people just filming you, and you're like really distracted, but you kind of get on with it because that's the job. Yeah, just really cool, just really cool, and even yeah, just mental.
So, which was your favorite location to film at in Paris?
Or hmm, there was like nice moments between. So we had filmed on the Eiffel Tower, which was like fun. And this is gonna sound really silly, but we did a scene there's a scene just before the gang go up the Eiffel Tower with where we kind of get into our pairs. And Mr. Farouk, I call him Uncle Neems. I was about to call him Uncle Neems. Nima, who plays Mr. Farouk. He's so dear to my heart. I love him. But he had this love, like he had this line to Ben. It was like, I don't give a rat's ass, rude boy. And it was just like really fun. It was that kind of day where we were filming that before we went up the Eiffel. Well, we had filmed that after we went up the Eiffel Tower, movie magic. But we actually that's the scene before we go on the Eiffel Tower. But that was really fun, and that was like when we were on like in a random park by the river and stuff. But definitely the Eiffel Tower probably is like a bucket list moment for me. But climbing them stairs is scary because you think like the wind's blowing, you think you could fall off at any moment. I mean, you can't because it's safe,
You
but
think you're gonna just blow off the Eiffel Tower, right?
because they've got these little gaps in the grates and stuff, and you think, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I think, bless her, that I was really scared, but Rhea was more scared than me. Rhea, who plays Imogen, so I think that made me less scared. So I was like
Like
watching
she is in
her.
the show. She is scared in the show too, so that was no
Yeah,
joke.
I think she said I'm going to use it as a character like character moment because yeah, which is very on brand for Imogen. Let's be honest. But that made me less scared, and then seeing Rhea more scared than me, bless her, made me less scared because I was like, okay, I'm not that scared, but so that's fine. And there's been a moment like that. I'm not going to say anything, but there's been another kind of moment like that where we've both been really scared to do something in season 3, and we were both like crapping ourselves.
After the season, of course, we're gonna like debrief and go like, okay, I think that was the moment.
Yeah.
And so on that topic of course, Rhea and Sahar and Imogen, they are said to be friends up until the prior year. How do you see their relationship and what that friendship looked like in the past?
So I think I was going to say Rhea. I think Imogen and Sahar have been friends since like primary school. Maybe like they live on the same street and they've like walked to school together and they've kind of grown up together as like really close friends. And I think it was a miscommunication, that falling out between them. Um, Sahar probably, like I said before, she really values like loyalty and honesty, and I think maybe that's something that Imogen, she didn't think Imogen was giving her, and they had like a bit of a falling out. But over the season, you kind of see them progress and like find their friendship again, which is nice.
What I love is, they talk about that miscommunication. Imogen's like, "What are you talking about?" And so I was like, "You got a boyfriend and stop texting me." So in terms of their relationship, like building itself back up throughout the season, what were your kind of thoughts on that? And especially watching it back after you filmed, seeing that play out and some of those nice moments that the two shared.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think it's true of life. Like when you're in Paris, right, with your friends, you're kind of stuck in that situation. You can't get away. All you've got to do is spend time with that person. So I think it's true of real life. You're bound to kind of make up, especially your teenagers. You have falling outs, and I think it plays really nicely and smoothly. There's no big like, um, it's not like. Uh, I'm so bad with words, but it's I think it's just a smooth transition to back to friends again. There's a really nice moment where after the party they're kind of like in bed and they've fallen asleep. They're probably kicking everyone out of the hotel room or something, and then they've fallen asleep tidying up or something, which is a really nice moment. So yeah, I think the progression back to friendship is it. I think it works. I think it's really nice.
How much fun is Rhea to play off of as a scene partner? And there was the moment, your face when Imogen goes the C'est la vie, or Elle's art exhibition where she calls Sahar the token ally, and just the moments like those.
So much fun. Me and Rhea did a lot of improv. So like that whole Sailor V thing was improv. It wasn't scripted and just really fun. Rhea is so fun to play off of because when we're about to shoot, she really gets into Imogen, and sometimes like just in between takes, you forget like I'm like, oh, you're being Imogen right now. I forget, like, because she's so good, and like, Imogen is such a fun character to play off of because Sahara is very blunt and kind of takes no nonsense, and Imogen is so like nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, say la vie, she just doesn't care, and yeah. So I think, I mean, she does care, but you know what I mean. She's just so fun, so fun. Rhea's great, and she really gets into the character, which kind of spurs you on and motivates you to get into those kind of funny moments. So yeah, definitely a lot of fun to play off of.
And did the two of you like hit it off right from the start when you met her for the first time?
Yeah, so I actually met Rhea for my when I went in before we had a read through, but I met her before that, I think. Did I meet her before that? I think I did. It's all a blur to me now. But I had a hair and makeup test that I was telling you about, and I was sitting in this room really nervous, and I was like really like stressed out, and I could hear people walking around, but I was too scared to leave my room. And then she come in with Sebastian, who plays Ben, and kind of said hello. And I think I was wearing a Hadestown top, and she was like, "Oh my god, I love Hadestown." And we kind of like it was that was really nice. That was my first time meeting her. And then during the read through was like a 4 hour day, and then we had rehearsals after that. So we was there for quite a long time, and yeah, we kind of just hit it off. And still now, like on set, we kind of just sing musicals. We sing a lot of Hamilton, and she's got a great voice, so it's always nice to listen to her sing. But we're good. I think we're good friends. I hope so. I'm gonna text her later and be like, "We
You're like,
friends?"
I consider us to be good friends. I hope
Yeah,
you consider us to be
yeah.
good friends too. Let's talk about prom, Sahar's look. Were you a fan of that dress? Because I loved like the whole dual patterns on it.
Yeah, so actually, that's actually two dresses. The wonderful Adam D, I think his second name is. I'm on a first name basis, so I forget. That's my excuse. Yeah, Adam, the costume designer, he when I went in for a costume fitting, he showed me two dresses. The first one was the top half of the dress, which I really liked as a full dress, and then when it had like a bit of flowy mesh. I don't know. I don't wear dresses, so I wouldn't be able to describe it very well, as you know. And the second one was that material all the way round, and I preferred the first dress, but I did like the second dress, and I think the same thing happened with Alice Oseman, the writer, and the producers Patrick and the director Eros, because um, they asked Adam to blend the dresses together, which is like it was really nice because I think the bottom part of the dress kind of it's not, but it kind of has an Asian kind of feel to it. I don't know, kind of like that those kind of patterns and stuff that you kind
Yeah,
of
like the
see.
ornamental kind of look. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of like a touch to her that side of her. So that part of her life. So I think it was really nice. I like the dress. It's not something that I would wear because, like I said, I just wear tracksuits. I think I've wore a dress once to my brother's wedding, and that was it. But yeah, I like the dress, and I think loads of people did. So that's good. Go on, Adam.
I love that they kind of put those two dresses together just for you, which is nice. And you're like, I don't wear dresses, but if I wanted to wear one, that's the one I would want to
Yeah.
wear. So it's good that you got to do that for the show. I have to say, one thing I noted about prom was it looked incredible, but I'm not sure that even with all the students' help, they could have gotten that done within the time frame that they had and gotten ready. So a bit
Oh
of
my god.
TV magic there.
Well, so actually, I think I don't know, again, art department do their thing and it's wonderful as always. But I remember we were actually shooting those hotel scenes, I think. And me and Karina, we're like two little partners in crime. We always go and explore the set and see what's going on. And I think they've been building that for like a good few weeks in advance. And we had went and before anyone kind of noticed, we went into the gym and was like, "Oh my god, they're building the prom! This is so cool!" And we got loads of pictures before they like they were midway through building it, so we got loads of pictures. But yeah, man, I don't know how they do their thing well because I think we had a scene where we were kind of setting up prom, and then obviously the next time you see prom, it's all done in its glory. But the scene where we were meant to be helping, I think we probably just made the art department's life harder playing with all the props and stuff.
They were like, "Can you just like leave now so we can finish putting this together?"
The scenes
But hey,
can go.
it came together so amazing. So kudos to your amazing set deck team. Baby Queen, of course, such an incredible moment with the band and everything. How was that to be on stage when they told you that you'd be performing with Baby Queen at the prom?
Really cool. So obviously once I got cast in Heartstopper, I kind of did my research a bit more and I was like, oh, Baby Queen, looking at all the songs and I was like, that's really cool. And then I found out that Baby Queen was doing a cover of The Cure just like heaven. And so obviously I had to learn the song, so they sent it to me, and I was like listening to it for months. And then when we did the scenes, it was really fun. Bella's so cool, so down to earth, and we had a lot of fun like rocking it out on stage. And I'd forgot the guitar notes like last minute, of course, due to nerves. And she was helping me, and it was like really fun. We got a few pictures. I think maybe Alice posted a picture of us behind the scenes, which was really fun. But Bella's great. Yeah, she was there with us. We shot that across 2 days, I think. So yeah, lots of fun. There was something else I was going to say, and I've completely forgot what it is. But oh yeah, so I'd listened to that song for so long. I think we had like nine, not like 8 or 9 weeks to prepare the guitar for that, and then obviously I heard it for constantly for 2 days on the trot playing it, and then like didn't, and then it had been stuck in my head for like 8 months, and then just as I finally got the song out of my head, the show come out, and so now all I hear in my head constantly is I think Rhea actually texted me earlier, and she was like, I'm in a shop or something, and I'm hearing the Cure song and she said it to me. I was like, this song is never gonna get out of my head. But it's great, I love it. I actually listened to it in the chorus on my playlist.
So in that scene, there's a moment, of course, where Sahar notices like Imogen watching her. Was there any special thought given to that moment for you as an actor? Like, were there any notable cues for that moment, or was it just cues that they told Rhea as Imogen?
um Definitely. I think for Sahar, it's the first time, she fell out with Imogen because she didn't really feel noticed by Imogen. Imogen always had constant like boyfriends, and this is in Sahar's head, obviously, but she kind of didn't really feel seen. So I think in that moment it's nice for Sahar, and it's like the first time she really feels noticed by Imogen. So that was definitely something I was thinking about while playing guitar and looking down at Imogen, and having that friendship come. That was like a definite moment of like, oh, they're like friends again now. Because Imogen really made the effort to come and watch Sahar, and obviously that was a big thing for Imogen because they hadn't talked for a while, and then it was a big thing for Sahar because yeah, she's first time in a while she probably felt really noticed by her friend.
Yeah, and also, of course, being on stage doing something that she loves and something that she's passionate about. Which was your favorite scene that you were not in, and why in season two?
Ooh. So many of them. I got jealous a lot of like the ones that the dog was in because I love dogs. So like any of them at Nick's house where there's Nelly the dog. But I think a moment that I really liked that I'm probably jealous that I wasn't in, was the scene in the shop where they all pull together to pay for Darcy's suit. I think that's a really lovely moment. Um, because it just represents like everything that the show's about, friendship and love and yeah, all those kind of things that everyone wants in life. So that's a really lovely moment that I'm like, I wish I was in. I think also because I had binged watched season one before I had got in the show. There's a nice moment. This is something that just sticks out to me, but I think Chetna, who plays Coach Singh, she says something to Charlie like, "Don't let anyone make you disappear, Charlie," or something like that. And I thought that's really nice. It's not really a whole scene, but it's like a little line that I really like that Coach Singh slash Chetna, love Chetna, says. So yeah, those two probably if we're talking about the season on whole.
Yeah, it's just like moments like those, like you mentioned, it doesn't have to be a full, complete scene to have these memorable, impactful lines. We know that Heartstopper season three is in production. Obviously, you can't say much about that, but given how season two ended and knowing what we know based on the graphic novels, what might you like to explore or dive deeper into Sahar's story in the future?
Oh God, see, I don't know what to say here. um, Something that like I would like to explore. I'm not saying that this is what happens, but something probably like leaving off from the last season, Sahar and Imogen's friendship blossoming again, because we get to a point where they're friends again, but I wonder how that plays out. Um, and how, like, as you said, how does her friendship with Tara and the gang blossom? Because this is like her first year where she's actually like made friends that for life. I think she feels so. Seeing how that blossoms, maybe a bit more guitar. I don't know. So I'm not saying too much, but that's something that I would like to see. I don't know if that will happen. Um, yeah.
I
Zip.
think from the novels, of course, we know that Sahar joins Truum in the sixth form in year 12. Charlie and Sahar are in a band together. So we'll see if that makes its way to the screen. I know that it has been faithful to the novels, but also adding in new characters and new twists as well.
Yeah.
So excited to just explore the Ousmane verse
Oh yeah, the
in the
Osman
future
verse.
seasons, hopefully seasons plural, but I guess we'll see. What other storylines have you been invested in and are excited to see more of and why?
Ooh. Obviously Nick and Charlie's. My laptop's gonna die. Oh no, it'll be fine. Um, Definitely Nick and Charlie's relationship blossoming and as they get older, and Tara and Darcy's relationship. I really love how like Tara's always there for Darcy, and especially when she needs it. And so everyone's. I'm literally saying everyone's, and Isaac's kind of journey of becoming to like coming to terms with his asexuality and stuff like that. So everything.
What can you say about your friendship with the cast? Like you mentioned, maybe having a bit of nerves joining, an established show, one where the actors had formed the relationships in season one, but how did that end up going for you?
um, so we're all pretty close. I think. Oh, let me close that. My dogs keep coming in as well. This is a nightmare now. We'll put it there. Um, I think we've all got on so well, and definitely me and Karina are like I said, thick as thieves. But it's like when you all come back together, it's like you never really left. We all our like love language is being mean to each other. So if we're being really horrible, that means we're good friends.
I love that because it's something that, oh,
Come to join me.
which dog is this? You have a
This is
couple, right?
Yeah. This is Teddy. This is my little Teddy, and he's tiny, and he doesn't look. What? Say hello. He looks unhappy, but he's happy to be here. Don't worry.
You have Penny as well, is that
Yep.
right?
So I have Penny and Teddy, and then my mum has his brother, which is Billy.
Oh, so adorable. How old?
They were born. Oh, they were born in January, so like a
Mm, they're
few
so
months old.
young.
Yeah, like 11 months. I forget that. Little babies.
Little guests for the interview, always welcome. Your first big brush with fame, of course, going to Disneyland Paris with the cast. A lot of people approaching for photos, meeting fans. How was that experience?
Oh, like really surreal, really like weird because I think it was only a week or two before that we got the new cast got announced. So it was really weird. Dogs barking as always. It was a really weird experience for me. Like I said, I come from a little town in Harlow, a little town in Essex called Harlow. So like not much kind of happens to people here, and then to go to like Disneyland Paris and people asking you for your picture, that's kind of weird, but you get used to it. And the fans have been so lovely and supportive of me joining the show, which is you couldn't ask for more, really.
And also getting to meet Mickey Mouse.
We dragged Nima there. That we didn't drag him. We were like, "Come with us, come with us, come with us." So we made him come, and then he had like the best time ever. And I was getting him to go on all the rides with me because I'm scared of heights. I was like, "Nima, you need to come with me on every ride because I'm gonna poo my pants."
And you were talking about Nima earlier, but as Mr. Farouk, so good in the show. All of his like kind of one-liners when he was rolling his eyes at Darcy on the bus, so good, that delivery.
He's great. You know what? Nemo's like I can't even explain him. He's just so talented and so like, yeah, I can't even explain. There's something about Neems. He's just got this quality that is so lovable and really talented and inspiring. Same as Fizayo as well. Like they're just our two uncles, and they look after us as well. Um, yeah, and Neems is great. He plays Mr. Farouk so well, and he's like just a genius. So cool, so cool.
You were at London Pride as well with the cast in July. How special and important was that day for you and getting to celebrate that together?
Yeah, so that was really fun. That was the first time I've ever been to like, a Pride before, and it was like quite nerve-wracking. I'm not great in social situations. I mean, I think I come across quite confident, but really I'm like an introverted extrovert. So it was like really cool day, but really nerve-wracking, and I was like stressed. But it was nice to be around the cast and everything and do that with them. And it like was a lovely day of celebration and love and everything. So I've got a few like little souvenirs from Pride. One lady came, I think she came from Australia or something. I can't remember, but she gave us little koalas that like clip onto your finger, and I've got it on the gear stick of my car, and I've like always got it in my car then. But celebrating Pride was so fun and important, so important, and I think that's why Heartstopper is so successful because it celebrates all the things that are needed right now and have been needed for so long, and yeah, had a lot of fun.
And the show means so much to the LGBTQ community, as you know, and as you've grown to know over the past little while. We'll talk about some fan reception. How have your family and friends reacted, first of all?
So um they were all like shocked. They were like, "This is crazy." I only told 3 or 4 people when I found out because they were like, "You cannot tell anyone." But obviously, I had to go to Paris, so I was like, "Who's gonna look after Penny?" So I told my nan and granddad, and I told my mum and my auntie, and they were all like, "What? This is crazy." I don't even think my auntie didn't know I was auditioning, and I don't think my nan and granddad did either. Um, I don't think anyone knew that I was actually auditioning for it. And then I told them, by the way, I'm going to be in this show called Heartstopper. It's on Netflix and it's really cool. And they were like, "What? This is crazy!" So they were all shocked and they were all so happy for me, um, and really supportive. And they're always asking like, "What's going on and how's the show?" And they always get backstage pictures and stuff. I actually this year I've brought my nan and granddad to set for season 3, so they had fun. Um, but hey, Ted. Oh, Penny came to set last year as well. That was really fun. It was by accident, really. I the person that was meant to be looking after Penny for me got really sick, and it was like 3 in the morning. And I was like, "Oh no!" So I messaged Vicky, the second assistant director on the show, and I was like, "Do you mind if I bring Penny in? I'm sorry, this is last minute." And they were like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, come." So Penny had fun on set. Penny's been so supportive. um,
Imagine a VIP on set one day.
I think she was loved more than I was. Bradley and Karina wanted to see Penny and not me. Um, but yeah, everyone's been so supportive. I forgot the original question now. Too busy thinking about the dogs.
Just more so, and then them obviously after the show comes out and actually seeing you on screen, that must have been another level as well, and all your friends getting to see you as well.
Yeah, like my little brother especially, he was watching it in the living room and he kept saying, "Layla, come here, come here," and he'd pause when I was on the telly and he'd be like, "Layla, that's you," and I'd be like, "Yes, Stanley, look, that's me. You know about this?" And he's like, "That's so crazy." So I don't think it hit home for him. He's 14 now. It didn't hit home for him until he could play it on Netflix. He was like, "That's my sister." So he's like, yeah, he was really happy, bless him. So yeah, I think again, we're my whole family kind of very working class, hardworking people. They don't um like we're kind of council estate people. Grew up quite rough, not rough. Listen, we had everything we wanted, but you don't expect things like that to happen for people with my sort of background and the things that I've kind of been through in my life. So yeah, I think everyone's just super proud of like what's happening for me at the minute, and um, so am I, to be honest.
I think it's so nice to hear you talk about that because it really circles back to your family and what they've been able to give you as well growing up. So it's really like an accomplishment for all of you to see you on screen in this Netflix production. We'll go through some tweets now if
Oh yeah,
you
I need to
have
grab my
your
phone.
I was thinking like when I was thinking I was like, did you leave it in your room because you only had
I
like
know.
the hand for the laptop? Okay, go get it.
It's all right. Listen, I'm gonna move now because my laptop charges really quickly. Heartstopper, how dare you introduce a character that has my mum's name and now I get scared every time I see it. It's Sahar, by the way. I love her to death, but there can only be one. I am so sorry, I don't know how to say that. Iron Ikali. I don't know how I'm saying that. But
I think it's like
anyways,
ironically.
oh, ironically, what an idiot am I? Ironically, SRS.
You're
I
like, this is
thought
the
Iron.
English coming through.
Well, you know what? I'm putting myself to shame here. It's because I've been watching. I watched Iron Man earlier. No, not earlier. Last night. So I've got Iron Man on the brain. Ironically, SRS. I'm so sorry that your mum. I've stolen. We have stolen your mum's name, but I hope you can come to love this Sahar just as much as you love your Sahar. What an idiot am I? All right, the next one. Leila Khan did a fantastic job of playing Sahar. I absolutely love her character and can't wait to see more of her in season 3. The female bisexual representation was so special to me and she's so close to my heart. Oh, thank you, Charlie Nelsons. Um, I'm glad you think I did a good job of bringing Alice's crazy, like, great um, comic book character to life. Um, Hopefully, we do see more of her in season 3. And love you lots. Female bisexual representation is needed. Always. Oh, I like this one's name. Sahar's guitar. This is cool. Sahar is a cat person, even though Layla is a dog person. Breathe to agree. Okay, I'm joking. I agree. I think Sahar is probably definitely a cat person. um, she just kind of gives that energy. You can kind of tell when someone's a cat person and when someone's a dog person. I'm a bit of both. I mean, I've got horses and I've got cats and I've got dogs. So I would like a goat as well. I'd like every animal. I would like a cow. But Sahar is definitely a cat person. I agree. So I'm breathing.
Oh my gosh, you
Oh,
have a horse.
oh, don't know what happened there. I've clicked on a. There we go. Right, I'm back. Yeah, I have. We have horses. My auntie has horses, and she used to. Oh, there we go. I'm on the next tweet for when I'm ready. So my auntie used to have a riding school, and she used to teach people how to ride horses, and then she moved away from that, and she did like naturalism and like kind of like a rehab thing for horses. So she'd go out to horses that have been like abused or like yeah, like kind of abused horses or neglected horses and not retrain them, but teach them how to trust and yeah, stuff like that. So I've seen a lot of horses, seen my auntie ride a lot of horses, seen a lot of horses. Yeah, love horses.
So you
um,
ride a bit as well.
yeah, so when I was younger, I used to ride a lot, and then since going to uni and kind of working, I don't really ride that much anymore. But we actually yesterday, I drove my auntie to Bath in Wiltshire, which is like a 3 hour drive from where I live, and back again because she wanted to go buy a horse. And this is like a family horse that we can all ride because her ones, she's stepped away from like the riding rehab clinic kind of thing for horses and she's now focusing on her own, and that means she wants another one. So we just went and we've bought a new horse. So I think I'm going to get back into riding. This is 2024 is the year for riding horses. Yeah. And it's really cute. It's called Pumpkin. I'll have to post some pictures on social media. Okay, so Lover. Spring Lover, I think that says. There is nothing straight about the way Imogen looked at Sahar. I don't know.
Did you have any idea of how important that moment would become though after it aired? And the coloring and how they do the editing as well is something that's so important and magical about the show.
Yeah, I think these moments feel important when you're doing them because yeah, like you said, like those I'm looking at it now. Sorry, that it feels important when you're doing it because of the lighting and the certain angles that you do and the direction you're given and stuff. So they definitely feel important when you make them, and then when you rewatch it, you're like, wow, they did a freaking brilliant job editing and grading and all of that. Um, yeah, yeah, was the simple answer to that question. Going to push the Imogen and Sahar girlfriend agenda from now on. Listen, listen, Lover Spring. You do what you need to do, alright? That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know, maybe they'd make a nice couple. They make good friends.
What's incredible though is that tweet was from the cast read through last year before filming. So fans already, had their own ideas and theories. Do you think like have you I know you're on Twitter or X a bit, but not too often right now. But isn't it crazy like how many different fan theories they have, and they're smart. They are sleuths.
Oh my god, so smart. I think I remember reading a few tweets um, when that video got posted, and they were like some of the theories were so on ball, like on point, and like about one of them was Teddy. One of them was about come here, look, come here, come here. Sorry, he's crying.
And he wants
Come
to
here.
be held.
He does. He wants a cuddle. He can see me, and he's like, "Give me a cuddle." Chill out, you. He wants to watch Iron Man with me, probably. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it's like some of these fan theories, they're like so on point. I think one of them was like Isaac's Ace journey and like yeah. I remember reading them and being like, how do they know this? They're clever. I tell you what, they are clever. And I hate looking at this picture, and I'll tell you for why. Because I'm wearing these ugly glasses, and the funny story behind these glasses is it's not so funny, but it is funny for other people. My glasses, I don't know where they are now, but I have nice glasses. Sorry to anyone that wears them, but I think they're ugly. On me, anyway. Um, I had my glasses had broke about 3 days before I had to go in for this, and I had zero money because obviously I was paying to get trains and stuff, and I hadn't been paid yet from the production team, and I had to go into Specsavers and buy like the cheapest pair of glasses. I think they were £20, but they were so ugly, and I'd ordered my other glasses to come, and they weren't coming till after Paris, so I couldn't get my new glasses till after Paris. And then I realised they filmed all this while I'm wearing my ugly glasses, so that's like something that's gonna haunt me forever. But it's fine. Listen, it is what it is. It was meant to be. The poor ugly glasses.
Yeah, like no
I hate
offense to
them.
Specsavers, but I really don't like these glasses.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, sorry, come on, give me some good ones. And I have my nice ones now. I'm so like like what's that word when you're like very precise about things? I've worn the same glasses.
Particular.
Yeah, I'm very particular about like things like this, and I've worn the same pair of glasses. Obviously, I've bought new ones, but the same pair of glasses for like 7 years.
Same, you only like this certain frame. You're like, never discontinue
Yeah.
this frame and lens.
I thought they had at one point, and I was stressed. Yeah, I don't like change very much. I've had to move house a few times, and that stresses me out. I'm like, it just sets my anxiety on edge. I'm like, oh, I don't like it. Ulrich Richard. Okay. Looking at the stars, admiring from afar. Sahar and Imogen fan art appreciation. This one was one of the most requested Heartstopper fan arts I've received. I've seen this picture actually, and I really love it. And I sent it to Rhea when I saw. Actually, I think she might have sent it to me. But it's so good. I love it. Like the art is freaking great. Really, really good. And they've like the guitar and everything is on point. It's so good. And this Sahar looks like she can play guitar better than I can.
You're like, thank you, Richard, for
Yeah, I
showing
know.
it like I can actually play. That was great. Thank you for going through those tweets as we kind of round things out here. I know you have a passion for directing. Did you get to shadow Eros or any of the team behind the scenes? And if so, are there also any specific genres or projects that you would be interested in?
So, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to go into directing. I think I've always wanted to direct theatre because that's like my passion is for theatre. But then since filming Heartstopper, I kind of was like, this is a whole new ball game that I want to learn about. So it was never really like I never really asked Eros to shadow him, but I definitely kind of asked lots of questions and annoyed him because I was too shy to like be like, can I shadow you, Eros? And can you teach me how to? I was way too shy for that to begin with. So, but I definitely asked a lot of questions, and I would go and sit with like the sound team, and I would go and like ask Brett, who's the first assistant director, about how things work, and I'd go ask producer, and I'd go ask Eros when he wasn't too busy. And Eros is so cool, man. He like he's just really really cool. I remember seeing him one day and he was like working out camera angles, but he was doing it in his head and he was like moving things like that, and it was just like watching him was so inspiring because he's just a really cool guy and talented and creative and yeah, awesome. So I never like was like, can I shadow you? But I definitely watched him a lot and watched everyone a lot and asked a lot of annoying questions probably.
That's so great though that they kind of let you ask the questions. I know you posted a photo hanging out with the sound department, so clearly you got to spend a lot of time picking their brains, hopefully learning for the future. Are there any upcoming projects that you can share? And it was actually I answered this question myself just this morning. You posted that it was announced that BBC Death in Paradise Christmas special you'll be a part of.
Yeah, so when you asked me about the interview, I was like, oh, I won't be able to talk about Death in Paradise, unfortunately. But as it so happens, they told me last night that they were announcing it, so I could talk about it. Yes, so I'm actually doing. Well, I've done in April. I got cast as Riley Biggs in a Christmas special episode of Death in Paradise, which was so much fun. And like it was crazy. Again, I felt so lucky to be able to go to the Caribbean and film a like TV show out there. That is mind blowing to me. My laptop's gonna die again. I don't know how it keeps doing this, but it'll be fine. So yeah, we went out there, and I was out there for 2 weeks filming in the heat. Now I don't really like the heat, but it was actually really nice out there. I was in pretty much every day that I was there filming and learnt so much, worked with some amazing actors and learnt a lot there as well. I worked with this director called Steve Brett and he was so cool and I loved him. And again, I would ask him a lot of annoying questions, probably got on his nerves a lot. But we had so much fun filming that and met like some great people like Don Warrington, Taj, who's actually friends with Karina. Taj is great, and Ralph Little, and obviously all the other guest cast: Freddie, Patsy, Amelia, Jeff
Freddie
Bell,
Carter, fellow Netflix buddy,
fellow Netflix.
Shadow and Bone.
Yeah, and Amelia, she's done Red Rose for the BBC, which is also on Netflix now. So check it out, guys. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, had so much fun and met some great people and learnt a lot more stuff about the film world. Had so much fun. So check it out whenever it comes out. I'm not sure yet.
Hopefully sometime I guess in December for the Christmas special. But I know you posted in May. I was gonna ask because you had used a Christmas emoji, a skull, and a knife in a tweet. So that was kind of like, I wonder what that is. So I'm glad that you can finally now talk about it and we'll get to see it soon. I have one more question for your signature question. If you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
Ooh, that is a fun question. I'm so boring when it comes to ice cream. My favorite flavor is vanilla or like cookies and cream, but I really like peanuts and pistachios and stuff. So maybe like a pistachio mixed with like a cookies and cream. Maybe that would be fun because I'm a bit nutty.
I love that. And your dog is like whimpering a little when you said I'm a little nutty right next to you. But that is great. Thank you so much, Leila, for taking the time to chat. It's been so much fun.
Oh, thank you for having me. I've had so much fun chatting to you.
Of course. Hopefully we can talk again for season 3. But until then, for all those watching, make sure to catch Leila in Heartstopper. Season 2 is out on Netflix. Death in Paradise Christmas special out soon on BBC, and we will see you next time.
Bye.